Alright, so because I didn't pay attention to my battery life, we are on part 3. So I'm just going to go ahead and start putting in some of these wire connectors. Sometimes it's easier when you have less things like the hard drive bay and stuff in here. So this first one is at the front communication port. And this connector, where did it go? I guess I better refer back to the manual. And it goes, yep, right there. So for the most part, a lot of the components on the motherboard are labeled on the motherboard. If it's not, or you're not positive what needs to go where, it is documented in the manual that comes with the motherboard. This one is going to be the USB front ports. I believe I can connect those into any of these ones. Yep. Alright. Now, these are the original that were already with this case. It's going to be questionable whether or not this front USB will work. It is the right connector, but it also is powering the SD card, memory card reader. So I'm not sure if it will recognize it, but we are going to plug it in and try it. Let's see. Looks like we just have the two main power cables. The little 8-pin connector is for the fan power, or the processor power. We will get these wires to sit properly once we get everything installed. Then the main 24-pin power. A lot of older computers had 20-pin, so our motherboards had 20-pin, along with the power supply being 20-pin. Just verify that if you are not going to change out the power supply, make sure you have an adapter to be able to connect to the new 24-pin motherboard. Next is our SATA power cable, which one side is going to plug into the peripheral ports on the power supply. And with this power supply we have 3 8-pins and 1 10-pin. Maybe I should plug this in before we put it into the case. A little tight fit. So we ran into a snag. because the other optical drive being smaller than the factory one that we were going to try and keep in place, the SATA cable will not connect to it because it's at a 90-degree angle. So we will have to remove this to connect to it. So instead of leaving an open spot, we should be able to swap the optical drives so that way we don't have that issue and we still don't have an open slot. Alright, got that fixed. And this optic drive then will connect to the motherboard through the SATA connector. The motherboard did come with two connectors, one that had a 90-degree neck on it and one that didn't. I wasn't sure what I was going to get, so I went ahead and bought two with the 90-degree neck on them, just so that they're going to be a little bit more flush in the box here. And the optic drive is the SATA 3G. And then the hard drive, which we are now ready to go ahead and get that situated. We'll be connecting into a 6G. Verify what you have before plugging into which one. From what I could read, most hard drives can be either 3G or 6G. All optic drives will be the 3G. not all of the boxes I've seen require you to screw everything down. A lot of times the hard drive and the optical drives will have screws already in them, and it actually has a system where it just slides in and locks into place. But this one does not do that. Alright, the hard drive is installed in its bay. We'll go ahead and install it now into the tower. And the SATA power strip actually has 3 power connectors. So one power supply will actually power 3 SATA drives that you need. And like I said, for the hard drive, we're using the 6.0 SATA port. And, well, most important wires would be to turn the machine on. I'm just verifying I plug these into the correct spot, because on the motherboard it's a long connector with just little tiny prongs that show you which one's which. Alright, so if you don't remember which one went to which, well, look at that. The connectors actually have what they are, so you don't have to look at the front of it. So this black and white one is the actual power switch. Which will go right here. Power LED. that looks like it's everything. All we have to do is organize the wires and power up the machine and install our operating system and any other software that you have. So as you can see, it's pretty clustered in there right now. I'm not going to waste your guys' time to watch me situate the wires, but you get the general idea. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a comment.